Okay, welcome back everyone to The Boiling Point. This is episode 22, Unity and Healing. I am joined by my senior political correspondent, Gavin Whitcomb Jr. And before we begin, I'm actually wanted to say something to everybody out there right quick. And apologies to my guest. He did not know I was going to do this. But there's a lot of divide in our country right now. A lot of people picking one side or the other, which is absolutely fine. This is what this country was founded upon: disagreement, debate, and compromise. That's what we were founded upon. That's what the founders had intended for us. And if you're ending relationships, family or friends, because they disagree with you politically or ideologically, then you're the one at fault, not them. And with that, we're going to get to our episode and what we're going to talk about. We're going to have some pictures for you later. We'll have some audio from a video Gavin will show us later. So, Gavin, welcome back to The Boiling Point. We're on episode 22 now.
Yep, good to be here. Episode 22. Unity and healing. That's what we keep hearing. Unity and healing. Now is the time to unite so we can begin healing. Well, I don't get the sense that anybody wants to really unify or heal anything. I get the sense that they just want to... their version of unity and healing means agree with us and shut up and sit down. And I refuse to do that.
As do I.
And, with much love in my heart, they don't make it easy to have love in our hearts. They make it very difficult, the opposing view. And I think a big part of it is because I know how dangerous and deadly, literally deadly, it's not a euphemism or a metaphor or a hyperbole, how incredibly deadly socialism is to everyone except the ruling class. And I just find that it's difficult to have a feeling of unity, John, and healing with people who are actively promoting that system that destroys lives and destroys friends, like I have children and I want their lives to flourish and I want their dreams to be theirs. And I don't want them to be just another peg in the machine. And that's what happens in that system. So let's talk about this unity and healing. I want to see you. I'm sure many of you watching this have already heard this or seen this video. It's from a Michigan State rep.
This is on Rumble. This is a video that you can find yourselves on Rumble. It's Dinesh D'Souza video. You can go to his Rumble page and you can find it. Gavin, what's the title of the video?
The title of the video is Michigan Democratic State Rep Records Threat Directed at Trump Supporters.
All right, so this is a threat directed at Trump supporters.
Correct. Now, she, in the very next day, put out another video and she walked this video back and said, I mean soldiers of Christ and things like that, but that's not what she meant. We all know what she meant. And another thing I would appreciate is if they would just stop gaslighting us, stop telling us that we're crazy, that the things that we see with our very own eyes and have caught on video.
That it's okay to kill us in the street and no one cares if a Trump supporter dies.
Yeah. No, it's a peaceful protest while you're standing there and then there's a building behind you on fire. I mean, come on. At this point, you're being insane and ridiculous.
But what is, before you get to the video, what is a peaceful protest is a bunch of people who are armed with their not their First Amendment rights. I'm sorry. Well, they use their First Amendment rights to protest, but they're also armed with their Second Amendment rights, and behind them is no building burning.
Right, correct. Nobody shot.
Yes,
nobody killed.
Everybody slung with rifles over their arms, sidearms, in their holsters, holding American flags. And no buildings on fire.
Yeah,
nobody hurt. Nobody killed. No property damage. That's a protest.
Yep, and they did it. I believe it was last year in a protest against Governor Northam in Virginia and his assault rifle ban, and
Governor Whitmer in Michigan.
Michigan, and with this particular protest the other year, there were people of all different colors, people of all different cultures, religious persuasions, and there's even a group, I believe they're called Gays for Guns. They recognize that the LGBT community needs to be armed, just like everybody else, and they all got along. They all were peaceful. They just had their rifles in their gear, saying we're not going to give them up, and nobody got shot, nobody got killed, nothing got burnt, because there was no political gain from it. It was just saying this is who we are and this is what we stand for, and we stand for our right to own. So that's a protest.
Yes, and there's actually more political gain from a protest than there is from a riot.
Correct.
But now you're going to play this video. It's only going to be the audio for everybody. I encourage you to go look it up yourselves, please. Again, it's on Rumble, Dinesh D'Souza, and it's about Michigan, the Michigan representative yelling at, threatening Trump supporters.
Now, tell me if this is the type of unity and healing that you want to be experiencing.
So this is just a warning to you Trumpers. Be careful. Walk lightly. We ain't playing with you. Enough of the shenanigans. Enough is enough. And for those of you who are soldiers, you know how to do it. Do it right. Be in order. Make them pay. I love y'all. Bye-bye.
Soldiers, you know how to do it. Do it right. Do it in order. Make them pay. Now, if that's your idea of unity and healing, I don't like your brand of unity and healing. It sounds to me like your brand of unity and healing is silencing people, maybe shooting people, and getting rid of the undesirables who are conservatives. And believe this, there are conservatives of all different colors in America, and we all rally around the Constitution, okay? And, your goal of dividing us by identity politics keeps failing. We're more than just our skin color. We're individuals created in the image of God, and we recognize that our rights are not given to us by the state. They're given to us by our Creator. They're given to us by nature's God and nature's law, and we all sense that, and that's why there's Latinos for Trump, and a big Blexit. You're going to see more and more of this because a lot of people are waking up. So you can't silence us all. I mean, you want 70, I think more than 70 million people to just shut up and go away? That's not going to happen. We love our country. We don't hate our country. We don't hate ourselves like you do. We don't hate our country like you do. We don't hate you like you hate us. What she just said was not only dangerous, but the irony does not escape me that for years we were told that Trump is this decisive, divisive, mean, hateful person, when I've never really heard him say anything hateful except at the news, and I always found that entertaining
and true.
But what she said was truly divisive. It was dangerous, and it was a direct threat, and I believe it was meant to be a direct threat on the lives of people.
Chilling, coming from an elected official.
if you or I said something like that, we could be facing terroristic threats or inciting insurrection or something. But the only thing that happened to her was she was stripped of her assignments, but she didn't, she wasn't forced to resign, or no charges were brought against her for inciting, terrorist activities or anything like that. So there's another thing I'd like to bring to your attention. I want to give a shout out to my friend Ben, if that's allowed.
Oh, and since we're giving shout outs, and this is totally at an oddball time, but shout out to Gavin's friend Ben, and shout out to our friend Bobby Boucher, who just had a birthday 2 days ago.
Happy birthday, Bobby.
So happy birthday, Bobby Boucher, from JD and Gavin on the Boiling Point podcast.
Yes, and thanks for having my back all those times ago with the Mandalay Bay shooting and our little discussion we had online. And whatever happened to that. Anyway, that's a topic for another time, because I still don't know. I still don't get it. But anyway, a friend of mine, he has a friend who she has a Trump sign in her yard, okay? And she still left it up, as many people do. Heck, I still see Biden stickers and Hillary stickers from 2016. But anyway, she received a postcard in her mailbox. But oddly enough, the stamp wasn't postmarked, so they just dropped it in her mailbox. So they're not very good at that. But it seemed harmless enough. Trump, says, does Trump hate America? You tell me. Russia paid Afghan militants to kill U.S. servicemen, and Trump did nothing. And then there's COVID-19, ... 126,141 Americans dead. That's 40 9/11s. 2.6 million Americans infected. We're number one in the world. Tired of all the winning? Okay, so then they were like, okay, that's weird, Whatever. But then they got this letter, obviously from the same person or an associate of the same person in their neighborhood. To whom it may concern, you're receiving this letter as you still have Trump signs posted on your property. This is a reminder to you that every major news source, including Fox News, has called the race for Joe Biden. Even Pennsylvania GOP Senator Pat Toomey, he's a rhino.
That's a Republican in name only.
Says that Donald Trump's attempt to get state legislatures to dismiss the will of the voters is inconsistent with a democratic society. By continuing to support Trump and his false claims of election fraud, you're actively threatening our country's democracy and the will of the people. Since when do the left care about the will of the people? Anyway, I digress. Election day was over 3 weeks ago. Your signs are continued stain on our neighborhood, and we ask that you remove them immediately. The community has its eyes on you, and your ignorance is extremely unwelcome here. Every time my family is forced to drive past and look at your signs, we are reminded of the immense hatred and unwelcomeness that Donald Trump and his followers have for people of color, members of the LGBT community, such as myself, and literally every other minority group. It's time you take a step back and do some self-reflections. Removing the Trump sign from your property is the least you can do to make up for the hatred you have helped spread throughout this community. I have taken the liberty of writing the names of some unbiased news sources. Sorry, I thought they were joking. They said unbiased news sources.
Yeah, and let's...
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, continue, and then I got
sorry
to add to that.
On the back of this letter that I hope you choose to look to in the future. Additionally, I have also attached a photo of Senator Pat Toomey's latest tweet acknowledging Trump's defeat and congratulating President-elect Joe Biden, which he's still not.
He's still not president-elect, no.
Even if the electors...
Because the media doesn't get to call our race. the Federal Election Commission.
Yeah.
They're the ones who call the race.
And the state legislators choose the electorates and tell them how to vote.
Yes, it's.
Look up your Constitution once and figure out exactly how the vote.
Yeah,
the populace. They don't even need us, really.
Yeah,
we represent elect our representatives or legislatures, and then they choose it. It's just a long-standing tradition that we vote.
Yeah. Yes, you're absolutely.
That's an inconvenient fact.
Yes,
that's
but it is
what it is like living in a republic.
Yeah. Yes.
So, anyway, they go on. I've also attached a photo of Senator Pat Toomey's latest tweet acknowledging Trump's defeat and congratulating Joe Biden. It's never too late to repent for the sins that you have committed. However, should you choose to ignore this letter and the results of the election, this will not be the last you hear from us. Sincerely, your annoyed neighbors. Now, this happened in southern York, Pennsylvania. That's hateful. And where's your courage? Why don't you go and talk to them? Say, hey, and see, then you have a chance to have that other person, the person you're confronting, give their side of the story, and you can start a dialogue.
Yes.
Okay? But that's not what happened here.
No.
What happened here was they sent a postcard. Then they sent a letter with a threat at the end.
Yeah.
Is that the way to invoke unity and healing?
Unity and healing, yeah.
Unity and healing. I don't feel healed.
Yeah.
From that. I don't feel united.
I've already had one family member call me some names, and a friend just end the relationship because of what I say here on the podcast, because I'm exercising my First Amendment right to speak the truth that the election is not over.
And it's not over.
And because I'm a Trump supporter, they don't like that, so they want to end the relationship.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and as you said, unity and healing. From the side that's saying unity and healing, it's not really what we're experiencing.
No.
And we on the other side are like, why are you guys so angry? Like, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'll speak for myself. Not everybody on the right side. I'll speak for myself. My thing is, why are you so angry? This is America. We have an election. There's obviously inconsistencies and problems in some of these states, enormous problems in some of these states.
I would call it overwhelming evidence of issues that need to be looked into.
Now we're censored on YouTube, damn it. Anyway, but
I said overwhelming evidence of things that need to be looked into.
Yes. And that's all what people are saying right now, is that there's inconsistencies and problems and that they need to be looked into and investigated. And if you were so sure about Biden's victory, then you would be welcoming these. Because if you really thought enough of America wanted Joe Biden as president, then all these investigations would result in either nothing, or even if votes were removed, you would still have enough to win.
Right. And I say, let's actually have judges hear the cases and actually go through the process. And if you guys are right, then we all look like fools. Great. Yay!
Dominion won't even appear before the committees in Congress.
Right.
They won't even appear before Congress. The Dominion, the people who made these machines in at least Michigan, I know in Virginia they've had some. I mean, they're in a couple of different states, these Dominion machines. And they won't even come and testify on their own equipment's behalf. They won't even come in and say, no, it does work.
Right.
They won't even come in
because they
and
can't
say that it does work.
But away from the actual election, John, I was not a Trump supporter at the beginning in the primary election. I didn't last year.
I wasn't even a
Now,
Trump supporter.
You weren't a Trump supporter until
even
when?
in the general election. I wasn't even a Trump supporter in the first election. In the first election,
Or
when
the
he
first
ran,
few years of his presidency.
It was shortly after that when I saw that after he had won and the attacks and then how bogus the attacks were. That's when I was like, wait a minute. But in the
that's what I wanted to ask you.
I didn't even vote for him. I voted for Hillary Clinton because I was a dumbass. But I did vote a Republican down the rest of the board because that was my. That's
Your
how I
check and
interpreted
balance,
it. Yeah,
so to speak,
of a split ticket.
So, but I wanted to go back to what you said before. What was it that made you think, maybe this guy isn't so bad? What am I missing?
Well,
here?
when he became the president, it was certainly the actual things he started to do. That was certainly the first thing. And
so, in other words, what you're saying
the
is
misrepresentation from the mainstream media was certainly something that made me pay more attention. Because what I was seeing in some stories about Trump doing these things and then seeing on the mainstream media who weren't even covering it or were trying to spin it as bad didn't really make sense to me.
Right. So, in a lot of ways, like, I don't know how many people I've talked to that believe just like that. They didn't like him at the beginning, and then they saw the attacks. They would watch him make a speech, and then they'd watch the news, and the news would totally, cherry pick his speech to fit their narrative, and like wait, that's not what he said, and that's not even what he meant. And a lot of people came to not only support Trump but enjoy him and enjoy his drunk uncle routine with the press.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it with the press. I would be out there blasting him every day. I think he's certainly stronger willed than I think I would be.
Oh,
in that
absolutely.
Position.
Yeah.
All right, well, we got some more to get to, but we are going to take a brief intermission because we're going to start breaking these episodes up until I figure out exactly what my audio and video problems are in some of my videos. Only when Pastor Gavin, your dad, is on the show is when I have the most problems, but to ensure that we're not missing a bunch of content tonight, we're going to take a brief intermission.
And thank you for the information from our field agent, Ben.
Yes, and thank you, Ben, for that information. Keep reporting it to my senior political correspondent, and we'll keep getting it on the air. We're going to take a quick break. For us, it'll be 5 minutes, but for you, it'll only be 5 seconds. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to episode 22, Unity and Healing. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, unfortunately, the show is over for you. You'll have to go catch us on
It's
Rumble.
over.
You'll have to catch us on Rumble. That is where the remainder...
No free thought for you.
YouTube doesn't like free speech, and Rumble does, and we like free speech here on the Boiling Point podcast.
Our speech is free.
Yes, and... So if you're watching on YouTube, unfortunately... The show is over for you. Please go to the Rumble link provided in the description and check us out there. You can always just go to rumble.com and search the Boiling Point Podcast and find us. But sorry, YouTube, in the words of Porky Pig and Steven Crowder, piss off.